to college. So to be president was not something that I thought was in my reach. It wasn't a part of my vision. But when it came to fruition, I realized that it was such a huge honor and a huge opportunity to help others understand that it's not where you start, it's where you finish. So being the president of SPC is an honor, it is a privilege, it's also a lot of hard work. One of the biggest moments of a college president is the investiture. I remember fighting tears because it's a part of my journey that my mom, who helped get me there, was not able to join me. She had passed away. She said, "Tanja, you're gonna do some cool things in life. I'm not gonna be here to see it, but I know you will." And she said, "Don't sell your soul to get it, and don't sell your soul to keep it." And I remember standing on that stage saying to her, "We did it, and I did not sell my soul." I've had a lot of people in my life who stood in the gap for me to help me do what I didn't think I could even do myself. People like Helen Collier at George's Pools. They were one of the first African-American millionaires in St. Petersburg who owned a swimming pool company. They pushed me hard to go to college, and they helped me stay in college. For those of you who are thinking, wow, I've failed 3 times, get up the 4th time. Many of us have failed. Many of us have made mistakes, but you dust yourself off and you keep going. It's all about the possibilities. Don't leave them on the table. Get up, dust yourself off, and keep trying.
When I decided to transition and retire, and you had told me if I ever retire, you would like to throw your hat in the ring. And I said, there is no ring. And then I turned it over to the Board of Trustees, but I did give them this 411. Erica is an intelligent, credentialed person, working artist, but she's an artist. And I think that's important. And whatever degree of difference that is, how an artist approaches the thing, that's what I wanted. And you went through the process, and that's what the board agreed on. Mm-hmm. The future is always bright, but under your tutelage, it's gonna be delicious.
I thank you for that.
No, because, my generation, the baby boomers, we don't tend to get off the stage. You got to get the hook. Oh, there's always one other thing we can do. And I'm looking forward to that, seeing what's next.
I think we talked about it before, we have the same sentiment about the space and what our job is. My job is to maintain the heartbeat that has already been created in this space. I am not here to alter the heartbeat. I'm here to take this heartbeat and strengthen it and bring a bigger light so that the world can see it as much as I can, and to take that to whatever that next level is.
Well, as I told the Board of Trustees, we're getting an A+ candidate that you would normally have to scour nationally. And then she has the added thing of she knows this community, and the community knows her.
I'm walking in the footsteps of a founder of an organization that is beloved. But I know that I gotta try it. And I know that we can do it.
It's very important for people to have diverse cultural experiences so that they can better understand and empathize with people around the world.
Sometimes you can take away things from those other cultures and add it into your own life, and it's very inspirational.
I learned so much about the culture of Japan, what it means to be in another country, what it means to have a host family in another country.
It's truly a very unique and amazing experience. It offers an immersion opportunity that's really once in a lifetime. You can't find it anywhere else.
I definitely learned so much more about their culture. I learned how everyday life is lived. You learn to love the people that you're staying with. You learn to love where you're surrounded.
One of the events was going to the Yashima Temple. It's a temple up on a mountain in Takamatsu, and it's otherworldly. It's absolutely beautiful.
I'd only really seen photos of the temples before, and it's quite a different experience seeing them in person.
I just remember it was so beautiful, and the more temples and things like that you visit, the more you appreciate the culture and appreciate the historical significance of Japan.
This is maybe a once-in-a-lifetime program. Even though Japan is on the other side of the world, I have another host family out there. I have another family out there.
It's really a great opportunity to exercise that interest in culture and learn more about Japanese culture specifically.
Not only is it educational, but it's also inspirational. It really inspired me to get out and travel more. And there's so much more for the world to see, different cultures, different foods, different lifestyles. And it's just so important that people realize and seek the world around them.
So Bobby, I have heard the origin story of your relationship with Jamie and how that kept you here, but I don't think I've ever heard why you wanted to start the studio.
Well, you know, that's a very good question, but I think it stemmed more from, somebody told me this years later, that Jamie was just trying to find something for me to do. Because Dave Ellis and myself, we had not fully formed what the studio would be. And Jim was out looking for a building, found this place, and we were calling it a theater, but not necessarily. And I had never run a nonprofit before. I've worked for dozens of them, but I had never run one. And so I think it was a convergence of several things, and we just grew into it being what we now understand to be the studio, which is something David Ellis and myself never did an elevator speech or the one sound bite. It's many things. Lately, people have been calling it St. Petersburg's living room, which sounds nice. It's a home for the visual and performing arts, but it's evolved. But we never had a specific defining, we're gonna do this. It just evolved.
to be fun. I want people to ask questions like, why are the cows flying? Why does the girl have two faces? All of my artwork, I want to hint at a story that you can fill the blanks in with. My artwork tells my story of navigating femininity, faith, and Latinidad through my painting. Just having something that is gonna live on and that people will stumble upon, like, wow, this really is super cool. I'm Christy. I've always been an artist. It's never really been a choice that I've made.
When you look at the top concern for residents in an urban city or even our rural communities, a growing number of Americans list affordable housing at the top of the list. Here in St. Pete, it's no different. I'm standing here at the Shores in South St. Pete with 51 new affordable units made possible by a county-wide collaboration. Understanding the relationship between our quality of life and housing is critical. That's why I'm launching the Housing Opportunities for All plan, an intentional expansion to our existing housing plan that addresses the current state of our city. The plan aims to produce new affordable housing units, preserve existing affordable housing, and protect tenants. Housing Opportunities for All is more than a priority in our administration. It's a foundational part of our mission, a pillar for progress. This year, we've designated more than $40 million to build new affordable housing units and plan to help thousands of residents preserve their current homes over the next several years. We've also implemented powerful protections for renters with our Tenants' Bill of Rights. There is nothing more important to me and our City Council than improving the quality of life for the people of St. Petersburg. And these are just a few examples of the impactful work that's underway right now. I will continue to keep you updated on progress made as we help more families settle into their new homes and stay in their current homes. So working together and listening to each other with our eyes on inclusive progress, we will continue to move the needle on affordable housing. To learn more about the Housing Opportunities for All plan, visit www.stpete.org/affordable housing. We are St. Pete.
The American Rescue Plan Act provides relief funds to governments negatively affected by COVID-19. The City of St. Petersburg has received about $45 million in the ARPA funds for investment and have identified key projects that will directly impact St. Pete residents, focusing 75% of funds on affordable housing and support, and 25% of funds on health and social equity efforts. These projects also fall within Mayor Ken Welch's 5 pillars of progress: housing opportunities for all, neighborhood health and safety, equitable development, arts and business opportunities, education and youth opportunities, environment, infrastructure, and resilience. So, what happens next? We plan to spend ARPA funds in the following categories: $34 million for housing affordability and support, and $11 million for health and social equity. Here's a closer look at the plan. To address the affordable housing crisis in the city, 75% of the ARPA funds will be allocated to affordable housing and support. The city received the Housing Champion Award from the Florida Housing Coalition, which recognizes the city for dedicating the highest percentage of COVID-19 state and local fiscal recovery funds from the ARPA to affordable housing. What might that housing assistance look like? Financial assistance toward things like new housing units, shelters for families in need, and additional supportive services. With the rest of the funds, the plan addresses mental health challenges and food insecurity. 25% of the ARPA funds will be used to develop projects that treat root causes of these conditions and situations. Things like food security programs, mental health counseling, youth development and nonprofit funding, and other neighborhood services. For more information about the city's use of ARPA funds, visit stpete.org/ARPA.
Dear reader, you are loved more than you know.
Keep smiling and shining and being who you are.
The world is lucky to have you.
Happy Pride to you. Celebrate like you should.
Life would be dull without you in it.
Keep shining bright.
Sunshine face.
You are so loved. Do not let anyone ever tell you different.
St. Pete loves you.
We need you. We appreciate you. Thank you for being you.
You are beautiful just as you are, and you make our city more beautiful because you are a part of it.
You make the world more colorful.
You make the world brighter.
Never give up. You are loved for exactly
who you are.
I promise. The world needs you in it.
I'm Jane Ordner, Parking Enforcement Officer. We're here to keep the traffic moving. That's our goal. Yes, we write parking tickets, but we really just want to keep the parking spaces open for everybody to patronize the businesses. If we weren't here, there'd be no parking, ever. I mean, you gotta have some kind of compassion. You can't just be out there and hit them hard. If it's you and your vehicle's first ticket and you've spent $25 or more at a downtown business the same day as the ticket, you can get it voided. They'll ask you to bring in a copy of your receipt, your driver's license to the 301 Central, and they'll take care of it from there. Everybody makes mistakes. We want to have compassion for these people. For instance, if they have a discharge paper from the emergency room with their name on it with the date and time of the ticket, yes, they can get it voided also that way. One lady went in, she was in labor and her husband parked. Well, we voided his ticket too because he was there for the birth of his child. So it's really situation upon situation, but most of the time if they have discharge papers and they can prove it, it's usually voided. We know it's an inconvenience to get a ticket and it's kind of aggravating, but in the long run it goes to a good cause because it gives the city money to comply with ADA compliances, the sidewalks and all that good stuff to fix them and everything else. And then another portion goes to school crossing guards so we can make sure that every school has them. I've had a lot of positive interactions. For instance, sometimes I go down to the dog park in the afternoon to give the dogs treats. I enjoy interacting with the different people. I know a lot of the different restaurant owners, so just interacting with different people on a day-to-day basis. We're not out there to necessarily give the tickets, we would rather them move. And that's the most important thing is we want people to be able to come down and patronize a business without having to worry about parking. If we weren't here, that nobody would ever find a parking space. They would park there and they'd stay. They wouldn't move. So then if you want to go to a specific restaurant, you can't go because that parking's full all day. We're there for a reason.
District 5 is at the southern end of St. Petersburg. It's bordered by Tampa Bay to the south, Bogosiega Bay to the west, 4th Street South to the east, and as far north as 18th Avenue South. I'm Deborah Figgs Sanders, your council member for District 5, an immensely diverse district that is home to many of our city's treasures. To get in touch with nature, you can visit Maximo Park or Boyd Hill Nature Preserve to enjoy waterfront access, nature trails, all with family-friendly activities. Then there's Lake Vista's popular walking trails, playgrounds, and a dog park that encourages you to participate in a city initiative known as Healthy St. Pete. Also, education and academic excellence is important for our city. And in District 5, you will find 3 of Pinellas County Schools' finest in Bay Point Elementary, Bay Point Middle, and Lakewood High School. Not to mention the mighty Tritons of Eckerd College, a liberal arts waterfront campus which sits on the Gulf Peninsula of Florida's west coast. District 5 is a diverse makeup of cultures, communities, and socioeconomics that can be seen throughout our neighborhoods. Lake McGorry Shores offers a sense of community, or the pink streets in the Pinellas Point neighborhood that are a unique feature not seen anywhere else in the city. Our growing economy, friendly residents, and beautiful coastline showcases our best about living in St. Petersburg.
Welcome to the City of St. Petersburg City Council meeting. Your elected officials are Mayor Ken Welch, District 1 and Council Chair Copley Gertis, District 2 Brandy Gabbard, District 3 Mike Harding, District 4 and Council Vice Chair Lisette Hanowitz, District 5 Deborah Fig Sanders, District 6, Gina Driscoll. District 7, Corey Givens Jr. And District 8, Richie Floyd.
Good morning. We will call to order the May 1st, 2025 City Council meeting. If we could do a roll call, please.
Sanders.
Here.
Driscoll.
Here.
Gibbons.
Here.
Floyd. Here. Curtis.
Here.
Gabbert. Here. Harding.
Here.
Hanowitz.
Here.
Okay, this morning we will have an invocation given by Deacon John Gertis from the St. Jude Cathedral, followed by a moment of silence for fallen first responders, and then please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you and good morning. May I ask that we just silence ourselves and recognize that right now and always we are in God's presence and appreciate the peace and safety that He provides, and may we just feel that as we pray today. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. God our Father, your glory illumines our city with the light that is your Son and our Lord Jesus. Your blessings upon our city and love for our citizens are self-evident. Please send the Holy Spirit upon all of us, and in a special way upon our elected representatives and city staff, that they may receive wisdom, understanding, counsel, fortitude, knowledge, piety, and awe of the Lord in rendering decisions in a just, merciful, and loving way. May their discussions and decisions always begin with your inspiration, continue with your help, and reach perfection under your guidance. Father, we ask this through our Lord Jesus Christ, who lives and reigns with you in the unity of the Holy Spirit. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. St. Peter, pray for us.
Please join me in a moment of silence for Detective Wayne M. Berry, end of watch, May 23rd, 1929. Officer Frank A. Pike, May 19th, 1933, end of watch. Firefighter Robert F. Parker, last alarm, May 10th, 1969. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Well, if you haven't figured it out, yes, we have another Gertis in the room this morning. And so that's my Uncle John, who became a deacon last year at the Cathedral of St. Jude's, Uncle John, and Rob's older brother. And so, Uncle John, thank you so much for being here and blessing us with that invocation. Okay, council members, we have an agenda in front of us. I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Seeing as no other council members wishing to speak, clerk, could you please open the machine for voting? Council members, please enter your votes. Seeing as all present council members have voted, clerk, please tally and announce the vote.
Mr. Chair, motion to approve the agenda passes unanimously.
Okay, we have a consent agenda. Do we have any cards on the consent agenda?
No cards, Mr. Chair.
Okay, council members, we have a consent agenda.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Seeing as no other council members wishing to speak, clerk, could you please enter the machine for voting? Council members, please enter your votes. Seeing as all present council members have voted, clerk, please tally and announce the vote.
Mr. Chair, motion to pass the consent agenda passes unanimously.
Okay, let's move into open forum. Clerk, could you please read the rules?
If you wish to address City Council on subjects other than public hearing or quasi-judicial items listed on the agenda, please sign up with the clerk. Only the individual wishing to speak may sign the open forum sheet. Only city residents, owners of property, business owners in the city, or their employees may speak. All issues discussed under open forum must be limited to issues related to the City of St. Petersburg government. If you are speaking to an item on the agenda, you may only speak once during the open forum or when the item comes up on the agenda. In order to provide an opportunity for all citizens to address council, each individual will be given 3 minutes to speak, and after which the microphone will be muted. If you wish to address City Council through the Zoom meeting, you must use the raise hand feature button on the Zoom app, or enter *9 on your phone at the time the agenda item is addressed. When it is your turn to speak, you will be unmuted and asked to state your name and address. At the conclusion of your comments, or when you reach the 3-minute time limit, you will be muted. All raised hands will be lowered after each agenda item. Regardless of the method of participation used, normal rules apply, including the 3-minute time limit on comments, the requirement that any presentation materials must be submitted in advance of the meeting, and the rules of decorum. If live public comment is disrupted by violations of the rules of decorum, the chair is authorized to accept public comment by alternate means, including by email only, and we do have some speakers, Mr. Chair.
Okay, let's call two at a time, please.
First two speakers, Walt Driggers and Amber Woods. Please go to either podium, state your name and address for the record, and you will have 3 minutes to address City Council.
Well, good morning. Walt Driggers, 1 Beach Drive, Southeast, St. Petersburg, Florida, 33701. I'm here this morning representing Friends Albert Whitted Airport, and first would like to encourage you to support the execution of the agreement to update the electrical vault. And then would like to thank you for the proclamation for Friends of Albert Whitted Scholarship Day on May 5th. That was a very moving experience for me. And also wanted to, for those of you who couldn't make it, for those of you who did make it, I wanted to thank you so much for your help on Scholarship Day. And those who didn't because of prior commitments or studying fermentation in Napa Valley, I didn't get the whole thing, want to make sure that you know what happened there. So here's what happened. We gave away 29 scholarships from 16 to 24-year-olds of St. Petersburg worth $184,000, bringing our total since April 2023 to $425,000. Here's what that has achieved. We've done 11 private pilots. We've generated 5 instrument ratings, 4 commercial ratings, 3 CFI ratings, 1 CFII, which is a commercial instrument rating, and 1 multi-engine rating, and we have 4 more check rides scheduled right now. It's working. Finally, I'd also like to tell you about last Saturday, we did a STEM, what we call Aerospace Day out there. We had 32 students, 12 to 16 years old. Some came from Academy Prep to the south, and others from Dunedin High School to the north, and everywhere in between. And during that time, it started at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and went to about 9 o'clock at night. It started with the Coast Guard coming with their helicopter and doing a demonstration where they dropped down, threw out their dummy, then flew away and came back with a knife, put a guy down, brought the basket down, picked up the guy and the dummy and went away. The kids loved that. The parents loved that. From there, we had a mechanic talk to them about mechanics of that. They learned how to pre-flight an airplane with themselves doing the hands-on stuff. They did rocket making, rocket launching with compressed gas. We had the Coast Guard there with their drones that they use on their ships, and it ended with Helen Tavora, who is a past NASA scientist who also now works at the Miami Science Center. We got her 10 gallons of liquid nitrogen, and she did a lot of experiments with the kids, making ping pong balls bounce off the ceiling. It's an excellent video you ought to see sometime. With that said, her teaching experiences involve the kids, and we believe that exciting STEM training can spark interest in kids and let them know they have choices and how to find them. And thank you for helping us prove that Albert Whitted is a better place, or St. Petersburg is a better place because of Albert Whitted Airport. Thank you. Go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Amber Woods. I live at 1024 Jordan Park Street South. I'm here today to discuss an incident that happened. About a month ago, at the end of March, we had about 5 shootouts that happened over the course of one weekend. And right now, I preside over the Wildwood Heights Neighborhood Association. So I called a safety meeting. We were supposed to have a meeting to pick our board, but instead, we changed it to a safety meeting. I invited our community service officer. I invited the St. Pete Housing Authority. And the community service officer did not show, did not answer, did not give a response at all. The St. Pete Housing Authority showed to the meeting. The residents, Wildwood residents and Jordan Park residents were very disappointed. We were basically told that we need to be better parents, we need to get control of our children, and that there was no money in the budget to do anything further about the safety in our area. A representative of the city gave us our word that they would be there, and they came and didn't show up all at the same time. So in 3 different areas, we seem to be, there seems to be a disconnect. I sent a letter to the St. Pete Police Department, to the mayor's office, I think maybe 2 other places, I forget. I was deeply affected by that last shootout. I lost property, I had property damage. My daughter was caught in the middle of it. Her and my sister were effectively used as shields from the other side, and it was just very scary. And so my emotions were definitely in that letter. We were basically told we're gonna put it on the next agenda item, and we haven't heard any follow-up since. There was a safety meeting at St. Pete Housing Authority. The residents were not invited, and we still have not heard any real action that has been, what's gonna happen, So I'm here to just make my voice heard. I know that there's gonna be a meeting with community leaders May 28th to address gun violence in the CRA. And I came here to speak because I don't want my voice drowned out in the sea of community leaders that are going to be there. I do want you to have heard from me personally that it is a problem. I'm a mother, I'm a resident. I've been told that since presiding over Wildwood Heights Neighborhood Association, because I live in the projects, my voice is not going to be heard. I don't pay taxes, and so nobody cares. So I want to make sure that you all know that I don't believe that. And I'm here in good faith believing that you don't believe it either. Thank you.
Thank you. Next 2 speakers, please.
Chris Steinacher and Esther Matthews, please go to either podium, state your name and address for the record, and you will have 3 minutes to address City Council.
Right. Good morning. I'm Chris Steinacher, President and CEO of the St. Petersburg Area Chamber of Commerce, 100 2nd Avenue North. I'm here just to say thank you. You just approved on the consent agenda our contract. We're 7 months into it, but we've done a pretty good job. I do want to explain a little bit about what we're doing and announce something we're going to be doing. But because of this partnership that we have been able to do a lot. In fact, this year the Buccaneers noticed our partnership with you all, and while the city was giving out $250,000 to our businesses, the Bucs matched $100,000 of that, and we were able to do that as well through this process. But over this last 3 months alone, we've navigated over 100 different businesses. Our EA class is just finished up. We're going to have graduation in 2 weeks, but we graduated 22 new businesses, 12 of them being veterans, and that's one of our targets that we have allowed in to get scholarships, and they were the ones that got them this year. We created something new for our Not-for-Profit Connect, where right now we've trained 17 small not-for-profits on what's called the SEED program, on how to create the case and use to be able to raise the money they're looking for, so we're helping small not-for-profit businesses. Last week alone, and Chair Gerdes was part of it, we convened the first ever Tech Founders of St. Petersburg through the Greenhouse, where we had over 30 tech leaders in our room helping us understand really what the next steps, as Mike Sweezy, who's in our room at EDC, as he lands new businesses here, how do we make them St. Petersburg? How do we make sure they invest in us? And how do they make sure we care about us? You all helped us do that. And then finally, on Tuesday, we will be awarding $10,000. That's increased by twice the amount from previous years, and that's based on our partnership with you all and our ability to raise sponsorships against it, to have 5 different businesses be able to pitch their businesses to all of you all and everybody else. We anticipate a good crowd for that. An exciting announcement for us is we had to change locations very quickly as a matter of protocol for some issues, but we also heard of some other efforts going on in our community. So I'd invite you to clear your calendar for Tuesday night to come here pitch night, because we're also going to be at Blackleaf Tobacco Cigar Bar. It's a great event venue. It's going to serve our purposes quite well, but I really want to fill the room with folks that want to hear these pitches, but also want to support Blackleaf, another great chamber member small business. We are working hard as a city and a chamber. I appreciate our partnership with Tracy, the greenhouse manager, and Brian, who helps, and the entire team. I do believe this is what makes us different, and I do want to say thank you very much.
Good morning, Chair, Assistant Chair, and City Council members. Esther Matthews. I stand today as the president of the St. Petersburg NAACP. And Chris, wow, that's a great segue to the reason that I am here, right? I want to talk about businesses that are not being celebrated and businesses that are being pushed out. In particular, I want to start with Black Leaf. As Chris mentioned, this is a new Black-owned business. However, they're being targeted. They're being pressured. They are being intentionally pushed out of doing business. I want to start, as always, with facts. Red Mesa Cantina built the firewall for their expansion. That firewall was compromised at time of build or shortly thereafter. Black Leaf went into a lease with the property manager with clear understanding of what their business operations were going to be. Because of the compromised firewall, the aroma of cigars is wafting through the firewall. Red Mesa is intentionally not taking responsibility for the compromised firewall, and the property manager and the owners are trying to force Black Leaf to fix a pre-existing defect. So today I'm calling on Councilwoman Driscoll to not only reach out to this business, but to stand with them as we have seen you stand with so many white-owned establishments in downtown St. Pete. It's important that we do not remain silent while larger businesses leverage influence to quietly push out smaller businesses. Black-owned establishments are not just here to generate dollars. We are here to generate economic development. I think it's a betrayal of what equitable representation is when we don't stand for all businesses. Secondly, I want to talk about the catalyst. It was brought to my attention that the catalyst is being singled out for issues that other businesses along Central Avenue are also experiencing. Central Avenue has fights in front of businesses. As a matter of fact, Central Avenue has more fights in front of businesses. Central Avenue has women who have complained of being attacked intimately and sexually. If you go to Janus Landing at any given time, you're going to get a buzz because they always end up smoking weed. But I haven't seen any of those businesses being targeted. I want to make sure that when we address issues, when we say that businesses are quote unquote being a nuisance, that we put a blanket across St. Pete and ensure that all businesses are captured in that net and not just Black-owned businesses.
Thank you.
Boy, y'all lucky because I was getting ready to go in. All right.
Next two speakers, please.
Mike Sweesey, please go to either podium, state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to address City Council.
Good morning, Chairperson Gertis and members of the council. Mike Swayze, 235 3rd Avenue North in St. Petersburg. I am also the president and CEO of St. Pete Economic Development Corporation, and I'm here today to thank you for your continued support. Our consent agenda item of a 3-year extension on our agreement, much appreciated. Additionally, I'd like to thank the council, the city, and the Chamber of Commerce for establishing the EDC Economic Development Corporation 8 years ago, so we're in year 9. Just a couple quick items. Our mission is to help out-of-market companies discover, explore, and choose St. Pete as a location to do business, raising the awareness of St. Petersburg as a business destination, not just a leisure and retirement destination, which is all good as well. And so we are working hard to increase the awareness, as I mentioned, identify companies that are in the active search or will be soon searching for potential new locations. So we've launched a new website. We have a new brand identity. As Chris Steinhocker mentioned, when we get companies here, we want them to become St. Pete. That is our tagline, Become St. Pete, and we're becomestpete.com. So we work hard on companies that really fit St. Pete and will come to St. Pete, become St. Pete, and not change it. And so that's what we're all about. So we're also doing additional marketing campaigns directly to site selection consultants. We reach out bi-monthly with a few highlights of what's happening in our great city. We're on social media, very active on social media. And with our new website, we build in search engine optimization, which we are now getting higher scores on Google searches and things like that. And then lastly, I'll say for the first time ever, we are engaging a PR firm to get national placements for St. Petersburg as a place to do business. So thank you for your support. The economic development team at the city is awesome. We just love working with them, and your support's greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more speakers?
No more speakers.
No Zoom.
Okay, we'll go ahead and close open forum and move into awards and presentations. And if you couldn't figure out what we were celebrating today, we weren't paying attention, we're going to celebrate Law Enforcement Appreciation Month, and we're joined by Mayor Kenneth T. Welch. We probably got to him fast.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of City Council, our St. Pete team, and all the members of our community who are watching us today. As each of you know, our police department sets the standard for professionalism, accountability, community engagement, and innovation in law enforcement. I call it having that DNA of service. We are honored to have the leadership of Chief Holloway and his command staff for setting that standard for our police department. And today I'm honored to be joined by Chief Holloway, if y'all could join us. Assistant Chief Kovacev, Gilliam, and Gerardo, and many members of the St. Pete Police Department, and PBA President John Vasquez for this proclamation. And all the members of the St. Pete Police Department, thank you for the work y'all do every day. We appreciate you. Chief, do you have the proclamation? Okay, it's on its way. And the proclamation reads, whereas the safety and security of our community are paramount, and whereas law enforcement officers dedicate themselves to protecting and serving our citizens with courage, integrity, and professionalism, and whereas these brave men and women risk their lives daily to uphold the laws that safeguard our neighborhoods, businesses, and families, and whereas Law Enforcement Appreciation Month provides an opportunity for us to express our gratitude and admiration for their unwavering commitment to public and community safety. And whereas their dedication often goes unrecognized and undervalued, yet their contributions are invaluable to the fabric of our society and the safety of our city. And whereas their sacrifices and selfless service deserve our utmost respect and support. And whereas we honor their bravery, sacrifice, and unwavering dedication to community safety and progress in our community. Now, therefore, I, Kenneth T. Welch, Mayor of the City of St. Petersburg, do hereby proclaim May 2025 as Law Enforcement Appreciation Month in the City of St. Petersburg, and I call upon all citizens to join me in recognizing the invaluable contributions of our law enforcement officers and expressing our deepest appreciation for their service. Thank you all. Let me just note for the record, I sent Rita to talk to the Wildwood Heights Neighborhood Association president, so that's why the proclamation is late. It's my fault. Go ahead, Chief.
Never late, sir. It's a great honor. So, Mayor, City Council members, these men and women behind, we just want to say thank you so much, because we know each and every day, we know that the mayor's office, we know this council, that you support us in what we do every day, and it shows. Also to the community that's out there, because when these officers get in contact with them, they always say, thank you for your service, what can you do? So again, on behalf of the men and women of the St. Petersburg Police Department, I just want to say thank you for your support, making it easy for us to come to work and making us want to come to work for the city. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief.
Council Chair, council members, thank you. Pretty much echo everything Chief just said. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for recognizing us, for the men and women who do the tough job to keep the community safe. We truly depend on you guys to make sure that we're taken care of in the city as well. So we appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you,
John. Councilmember Gabbard.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning, everyone. I said when I walked in, man, I think we are the safest place in the city of St. Petersburg today, so thank you all for being here, and just thank you for what you do every single day. A proclamation, words of, support are not enough for us to really show you what you mean to us and what you mean to our city. You keep us safe. You keep us feeling a sense of pride in the work that all of you do. We have the best police department in the entire country, and I know that without a doubt. And Chief, that is because of your leadership and the leadership that you have shown, Mayor, in leading this organization. We are so incredibly proud of all of you, and thank you for what you do for us. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Councilmember Harding.
Thank you, Chair. Offer me some latitude here. I think that everyone has their own personal heroes. Some are political, some are historic, some are athletes, some are actors. This is the latitude. You all are mine, and I want to tell you why. 4 years ago, my daughter called me about 11:30 in the morning. She was having lunch at St. Pete High. My business is about a mile and a half away, and she called me to tell me that there was a school shooting in the cafeteria. She was having lunch. She heard the gunshots, and thankfully, I'll skip ahead. It was a prank, and some kids had some firecrackers, not the point. So she called me. She was in the process of running. She didn't know exactly what to do. Ordinarily, they would shelter in place in a classroom. She wasn't in a classroom. She didn't know what to do, and I told her to think about where she knew safe classrooms were and get there. In the meantime, I was headed out of my office into my car. I was going there to do what, I have no idea, but that's what you do. And I said, I need to make a phone call. I'll call you back. So I called a buddy of mine who's a St. Pete police officer, and I said, Bobby, what's going on? And sorry. He said, Mike, don't worry, we got this. That was it. He hung up. He had things to do. So I'm headed to my car, and I'm starting to think rationally about, no, I have no business in this. I have no background in this. And I need to. And as I'm walking out, I hear sirens coming from everywhere. Holy crap. Bear with me. Here's what I knew. I knew that a whole bunch of people were on the way to save my daughter. They're trained. They sign up for this. They know what to do. Everything is in place. This has been practiced. None of that matters. The point is that there were people coming from literally all over the place that were willing to give their lives to save my daughter. That's it. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Vice Chair Hanowitz. Have fun following that.
Great, sir.
Mike, I know exactly what you talk about, because when I was a prosecutor, I had to work with law enforcement and see the cases that they had to deal with on a daily basis. I was lucky that I just saw it in the courtroom. I didn't have to be on scene. I didn't have to view the child pornography. I didn't have to view the dead bodies. I saw pictures. And that's what they do. And every time that we're out there and you see a law enforcement officer stopping somebody on the street, okay, they were speeding. And that's what you see. But you don't see all the horrible stuff that's out there they're dealing with on a daily basis. We have the privilege of living not knowing what they see. And I remember when I was in law enforcement, my husband and family, they would have dinner with me, and y'all know this. And it's like, maybe we should not be talking about that during dinner. Because you get to the point that that's your life, and you actually believe that it's just all around you. So what you're saying is what they live day in and day out. And I appreciate you for that. And I want the public to know what we see sometimes is only a sliver of what they're doing out there every day. And if you actually knew everything that was going out there, it would shock you. And we are very lucky that they do what they do, because that way we live in the environment and the city that we live in. And yes, there's crime. Of course there's crime. Everywhere there's crime. But trust me when I tell you that the way that this city is run in terms of our law enforcement and what they do to keep our city safe is unbelievable and the best. So thank you for your service.
Councilmember Fix-Sanders.
Well, I'm on a different note. Hey. First of all, I was excited. I was like the first one here for the meet and greet, because I really was. It's like, hey, we're going to do this. Because, you know, you have everybody's experiences, and I am so incredibly grateful for everything that you all do, the relationships that I have established, the conversations we have, the assistance that you have provided. Our POPs program, they don't know about the awesome things that you do. You work and go to our preschools, and I was there for the bicycle giveaway. It was so funny. There was one little boy, when we were talking about police officers, and he said, I want to be a fireman. I was like, no, they're giving you free bicycles. That's not what we say. But it was the innocence of a 4-year-old, right? It's like, I don't know. So, but I say all that to say, yes, you do deal with some really, really serious and heart-wrenching incidents of life. And you do it with grace, you do it with gratitude, you do it knowing that morning what it is that you're supposed to do. But there are those awesome things that our community don't know that you provide, you know, for working with our children, for being there, establishing the mentorship that you provide. I don't want us to forget that. So for Chief Holloway, you know, we on speed dial. I really do appreciate you for that. The mayor, for how you have continued to support. And I tell people all the time, regardless, when it comes down to our officers, I'm 10 toes down. I'm going to always support everything that you do. I appreciate you, and I appreciate the support that not only you give us, but what you've given me. And so you're going to continue to see that. You know, y'all got me for another 4 years, God willing. And so I'm always going to support our officers, because y'all look good in that blue. And I really do respect what you all do. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Councilmember Givens.
Thank you so much. And I want to thank you, Chief Holloway. Thank you to our assistant chiefs, lieutenants, sergeants, majors, all of the above, officers, those of you who patrol and protect our communities and you keep them safe. You know, I acknowledge, yes, crime exists. Crime is everywhere. But what we don't have everywhere is good officers like you. We are amongst St. Pete's finest. And I thank you for the service that you give, the sacrifices that you make. There's a song that we sang at church. How can I say thank you for all the things that you have done? Things that go noticed and things that go unnoticed. We say thank you. We say thank you to your families, because they have made a sacrifice as well. I come from a law enforcement family, so I know the sacrifices. I've seen them firsthand. And I thank you for putting your life on the line to protect our lives. Your work is not in vain. So God bless you and thank you.
Amen. Thank you. Councilmember Driscoll.
Thank you. And Mayor, thank you for giving us the opportunity to share this proclamation with you and with the department. Chief, thank you for your incredible leadership. You truly are the best of the best. And it's reflected in the team that you have and continue to recruit. Some have talked about the big things, but there's also those little things that you do every day. You're there not just when someone's in trouble or when someone's having a bad day. I love how our police department is out there to bring smiles to people's faces. Just a couple of evenings ago, I did a neighborhood park walk and talk during one of the evenings, and we had members from the neighborhood association teamed up with CSOs. The police department had made up door hangers, reminding people how to keep their cars and their houses safe, and ways you can call if you see something, you can say something, and here's how. Knocking on doors together and saying hello. People were thrilled. They did not care that their city council member was standing there. They cared that a police officer was there with a friendly smile and an offer to be there for them anytime they need something. It was amazing to see up close, face to face, these residents responding so positively, and almost every single one of them said thank you to that officer. It's when something has gone terribly wrong, I can always count on getting the communication that I need. Thanks to Chief Kavasev, thanks to Major Miller. For me, I cover two police districts. 1 and 2 are within District 6, so I've got a lot of people to remember. So I'm missing it. Major Bush is awesome. I have these great almost daily interactions with those who are really on the ground in my district, and that means so much to me. And whether it's with something that has gone wrong in the level of communication that I get about it, or those everyday concerns that people have where the resident calls me instead of the non-emergency number, and I have to figure out how can we solve this. So it's those little things that maybe you didn't realize you had signed up for along with everything else, but those things really add up, and that improves the quality of life for our residents. There are many, many more of those little things, thanks to just having a wonderful department. But those things do matter, and I just wanted to bring that up and thank you. Thank you for being there when someone's having a really bad day, and thanks for being there to make someone's day. I see, or I hope that you can see that you have our support very firmly. And the only thing I want to know is, what can we do for you? And I will always ask that. And I always want to act on the answer. So we're here for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Floyd.
I'll be brief. I just want to say thank you to the police department for being innovative, particularly for, this is maybe a little comical, knowing when you're not needed, specifically like the call program. Ideas like that are what sets our city apart and are what makes us forward thinking, and it was because the department and the union supported it that it happened, and so I'm really grateful for the forward-looking nature of the department and of the union. Thanks.
Thank you. Well, I told you downstairs I thought you'd see it, and I think it's very clear that this council is completely and utterly supportive of our law enforcement. And so, Chief, I know I say it all the time, and chances are at least your comments will be shorter now, because I think everybody got the appreciation out of the way on your presentation here in a couple of minutes. But I think I've said it before, it starts from the top down. And so it starts with you, your command staff, all the way down, all the way to our volunteers. And so when I think about the completeness and the wholeness of the department and what you're doing every single day, 24/7, I could not be more thankful for each of you and the job you do and how you do it. And so thank you so much for being here. Thank you for celebrating with us. And like you've heard now for 8 times, you have our support, and you're going to continue to have our support, and let us know how we can do that on a daily basis with you and for you. So thank you for being here, and let's celebrate you one more time. Okay. We're going to move right into it, and we're going to invite Chief Holloway up for our quarterly report.
Thank you, Chair, Council members. I guess I can say, you have any questions? Before I get started, I just want to thank again, Council, for all those comments you made for the police department and tell me about my leadership. But you know, behind every great leader, you have to have great support. And my executive team, they're the greatest there is. So the reason why I'm so good is because I have 3 great assistant chiefs, a great PIO person, and legal advisors. So we are where we are because of that tight team that I have. So I want to thank you for that. So let's get into the meat and potatoes, so to speak, of this report. So for this quarter, which is January, February, March, the first quarter is auto thefts are down by 19%, burglaries are down by 17%, property crimes are down by 17%, violent crimes are down by 36%, overall crime is down by 21% in the city. A homicide as of this quarter, we have 5 compared to 5 last year. We have 1 open case, but we have a great lead to that case. So hopefully we'll bring closure to that family soon. Of those 5 homicides, 1 was by hand, 1 was by a handgun, 2 were by knives, and 1 was by a vehicle. Our grit team, again, that's the team that go out and respond to where there's shots fired. And I can tell you, after the person spoke this morning, like the mayor said, Miss Rita was outside talking to her, and Chief Gilliam, because we want to figure out what happened, because I know Major Miller and Sergeant Matthews do go to those meetings, so we want to make sure if there was a miscommunication at the next meeting that we're there, and we talk to her personally, because everyone's safety in the city matters to us. Our gun report, I think every quarter I keep saying it's getting better and better. So I know we're never going to be 0, but I'll take what we've got. Also, I want to report that what we continue to see is people returning their guns. So for this quarter, we had 65 guns returned to us for safekeeping, and we recovered 24. So that was 98 guns taken off the streets for this quarter. As I reported earlier, as you can see from the numbers, crimes is trending down in the city for this quarter, so we're very happy for that. The arrest report, because crime is trending down, also you're going to see the arrests trending down. And I know council asked this the last time, so we did do a breakout. Our concern is still 65% of those arrests for motor vehicles are juveniles. 47% of the vehicle burglaries are juveniles. Burglaries are 13% and robberies are 24%. So we're still having an issue with our juveniles walking around trying cars that are unlocked. And I'm going to talk more about that, how we're handling that. Again, we're never going to be perfect, but we are focusing on how we can prevent our juveniles from committing crimes in our city. Traffic enforcement is still going well in our city, and we go to meetings and we tell people, you call, we come, we write. So just remember that. If you want to report traffic incident, we will come out there and we will take care of that problem. Our juvenile second chance program is still going well. The one that we had, the juvenile didn't show up for the program. Our home program, again, which is a statewide, a countywide program, as you can see, our intense supervision is down, which is great. And intense supervision is where a juvenile, he or she has been convicted of 5 or more felonies. That means we are starting to reach out to the right children with that program. Our PATH team, as you can see, they're still out there making lots of contact. I know last time there was some question about the numbers, so I'm going to break that down for you. There's 751 contact, but of those, they're then broken down to how many people referred, sent to those different organizations. So that number may be high, but some people may have refused some services. So again, they're out there, they're making contact, they're asking the person every day, what can we do to help? What can we do to get you out of this situation? We also still partner with St. Anthony's Hospital, where we have a nurse practitioner right with us once a week, so we can also handle medical issues that are out there on the street. Park, walk, and talk. The weather's getting better, so we're getting out there. We're trying to make contact with the people that don't call us for assistance, but we can ask them, what can we do and how can we make it better? Eagle Eye program, I'm going to have a goal, one of those goals. Let me see if we can get 10% of the people that live in the city to sign up for this. We increased by 14%, so we're going to see if we can get about 20,000 people in our city to sign up for the Eagle Eye program. And I'm going to promote that here for like 2 seconds. And what that is for the people that are listening is All we want you to do is tell us if you have a Ring camera at your home, so we can register it. So when something does happen, we can come out, knock on your door, and ask us permission to look at your camera. We don't want to feed to look at your cameras every day. We don't want that. But when something happens in your community, we like to be able to go to your home or your business and look at the camera, see if we can make a case closure. Our use of force policy, again, standard for the quarter. We had 3 citizen complaints. Of those 3 citizen complaints, they had nothing to do with use of force. So we're getting to the program that we talked about. Our call program is still going great, and I think she's still here. Megan leads that. She leads both of our programs. And as you can see, when we first started, everybody thought this wouldn't work. 97% of the call, the officers are not responding to. And just like Councilmember Floyd said, we don't need to go to all these calls. We're happy to give this to specialists. So our navigators are doing what they're doing. And the last bullet point I want to bring out, because I talked to other police chiefs and sheriff, 0 incidents, 0. Because the people are calling because they need help. They don't need a badge and a gun. They need someone to help them through the crisis that they're dealing with. Again, as you can see, the incident the council heard about at the library, as soon as that happened, we sent the call team there to talk to the city employees to make sure we could help them out. Call is now going out also to the Saturday program to make contact with people. And on April 10th, we had call there for our candlelight visual. So here's a program I want to spend a little bit of time about, because it was the mayor started this program, the citizen and community voted on this, and council approved this. This was the $1 million that was given to the police department. Again, how can we continue to work with the community to help our juveniles that we talked about? So, and again, I want to thank Megan McGee. She's here today with us. She is really the person that works on this all the time. So I'm going to just start off with the Gulf Coast. So what we did was the Gulf Coast is part of call program, but we said, okay, how can we help the kids? And the kids did not like having someone call a navigator or a counselor coming to their home. So we said, okay, we asked the kids, what's the best thing? I want a coach. So now that person that comes to their home, they're their coach, and they're coaching them through their crisis. The biggest number that I want you to see is 73% of these kids, and these are the kids that are committing felony, 73% of these kids have not re-offended. So that means we're doing what we need to do on the front end. We talk about it all the time. We can't arrest our way out of this. We got to come up with solutions so we can work our way out of this. The other part is the PAL program. The PAL program is, as you know, there's a lot of sports that go on in our city, and there are a lot of parents that can't afford this. So through the PAL program, any child that needs funding or help funding, we will help them get to that. We will help them get the equipment to the league. So that really does help us out with that. And again, I just want to iterate to the mayor's staff putting this together, the mayor's office that gave this money to us. Because without this, it wouldn't be possible. So that was $1 million that was given toward our youth. Our second part of it is CFA, and I'm sorry, I should have gone to PAL. PAL is very interesting with that. PAL is allowing the kids to come to a place after school. But what we did is, again, I want to give Megan credit for that, is now we hire kids from USF that plan on being teachers so they can come in the afternoon and work with the kids to do their reading and math. So now the kids are getting additional help to getting through their program. And CFY, that's the one I jumped ahead. Those are the ones that are paying for helping kids with anything they need. And they came here at the last city council meeting where you saw that we're giving out scholarships. We're working with the schools, and as you can see, as we keep looking at programs, we keep talking to the mayor's office or the mayor to say, what else can we do? Because we're trying to figure out how we're going to help the youth and how we're going to help the family so we don't have to deal with them on our end. And again, like I said, because we're not going to rush our way out of this. We're going to work our way out of this problem. So with that, I'll end with that.
Okay, Councilmember Gabbard.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for the presentation this morning, Chief. Always good to see you for our quarterly reports. Just a couple of questions. So, glad to see that the guns stolen in District 2 is down to 1 icon. So I think the message is getting out, but certainly always more that we can do around that. And when you shared the statistics around juvenile car burglaries and things like that, we know that as the summer months come, less activities for our youth, especially during the day. crime kind of tends to ramp up a little bit, idle hands. So what are we doing to be kind of proactive as we walk into those summer months? And what can we do as council members to help spread the word about these programs and all of these innovative things that we're doing?
Sure. So I'm going to say something that I regret saying here, but it all starts with Parks and Recs.
We got to get it in once a day, so
Yes.
you got it.
And Mike Jeffries and his team, they do a hell of a job because they open up things. We work that partnership to say, okay, what can we open up? How can it happen? And then again, through this innovative equity program, we're able to help out with that. So that child, if he or she needs funding for something, that money's available for them. So again, I'm going to go back and say thanks to City Council because you approved that. So as funding is available, is the parents got to want to do that with the child and get the child involved in it. So it's all of our jobs to get people to be aware of it and to work on it together. So we are ready for the summer month. Chief Gillen's always got his team in place. We use our school resource officers because they know the kids, so we try to get that blend together.
It's a collaborative effort.
Yes.
So speaking of your innovative equity program updates, one of the things that I've heard a lot from community groups, advocates looking for more resources for our youth is that it's not just about the programming, it's also sometimes about barriers in transportation. So have we had conversations about what it might look like for the city to assist in some way with transport for our youth to be able to get to these programs?
Yes, we are looking at that. We already talked to PSTA. We looked at certain things, but that liability comes in too.
I know.
But I want to thank Jack and her team because every time we're trying to come up with an idea, they go like, well, but we're working through it. So again, that solution to it. So we are trying to figure it out. That's the hardest thing because parents are working, but how do you get that child from point A to point B?
Right. I mean, and then that is probably overwhelmingly the one gap that I hear most often. So as a council member, I would be very interested in having a conversation with you one-on-one about maybe some creative solutions, what the city can do, would like to understand from legal what the parameters are, because if we can create all the programs in the world, but if we cannot get our youth to those programs, it's all for naught. So I just want to make sure that we're looking at all of those gaps and how we fill them.
And like I said, again, with Jack and her team, we are trying to find solutions to that because we know that's a big barrier. Just trying to figure out how we can do it.
Fantastic. And then my last thing, and this is not really for today, it's more of a request for your next update. So City Council, if you haven't seen, our wake zone legislation passed this week, both chambers of the Senate and the House. It was part of the larger transportation package that was passed first in the Senate and then came over and was adopted by the House. And so we're very excited for that to be implemented. The governor should sign that into law hopefully soon, and I believe July 1st is when that goes into effect. So we are going to have a job around communication, enforcement, what that is going to look like. It's going to go into law right before our busiest part of hurricane season. And for those who may be listening who don't know what this is a bill that was sponsored by Representative Lindsey Cross and Senator Nick DeSigley. It was actually written and collaborated on by Assistant City Attorney Michael Dima, Chief Holloway, Sheriff Galtieri, Amber Bolding in Emergency Management. It was really a St. Pete-born team effort. And so that has been passed. That is now in state law. And going forward, the law enforcement will be able to enforce lower speeds when roads are inundated with flooding. And so that was a situation that we had where they were really tied. If somebody was going the speed limit, there was nothing that law enforcement could do to keep the wake that they were pushing from going up into homes. Now we can start to enforce that, but now it's going to be about how we enforce that. So on your next report, if we could have a conversation about that versus bringing you back or bringing you to a committee or something like that, I think if we could just incorporate it into your next quarterly report for how we're going to communicate it and how we're going to enforce it. I'd love for us to have a conversation about that if we could.
We'll be done. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Councilmember Driscoll.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief, for the report. First, about the report overall, it really shows some improvements in pretty much every area. And just wanted to commend you for that. I noticed that what you talked about at the very beginning, and we didn't have a slide about it, but the reduction in those more significant crimes, the violent crimes, or the bigger stuff. How do you also measure the smaller stuff, like the non-emergency calls, or do you only focus on? I'm just wondering, because we always hear about the big stuff. Where this is coming from is actually this morning I was listening to a piece about New York's police department has earlier this month they launched a quality of life policing program. You might want to look at it. It's pretty interesting, and I know I'll be following up with you on it later. But it's really focused on more of those non-emergency calls. They said that although they're in New York City, their violent crimes have gone down, but the smaller infractions, those non-emergency calls, have actually gone up. So that and that's about it can be about noise, it can be about panhandling, it can be those everyday life kind of things that you run into as you're walking around. So it got me thinking, we haven't really examined that so much. So I know we're doing a great job in reducing crime overall and reducing those bigger crimes. But how are we doing on the smaller stuff? Because that adds up, and I think it's a good way to put it. It really does impact someone's quality of life.
Well, I can say we just don't talk about it. Maybe I can say New York has followed us. We have stats for stats. If you want all those stats numbers, we can tell you how many panhandling. You name it, we track it. But again, I don't. If the council wants all those numbers, I can give all those numbers. There are a lot of numbers.
Yeah.
Through the call program, we track those. Are we increasing, decreasing? What else? So I'll be more happy to talk to you one-on-one. But if you want all those numbers, I look at them every month and I can give them to you.
Yeah, and maybe not broken down by exact category, but maybe as part of the next quarterly report, even you can start including that, what the number of non-emergency calls is. And I mean, we'd have to give that some thought, like if you do want to narrow it down somewhat.
I can meet with you one-on-one so you can so I can show.
Yeah, let's work through that.
Show me what you want to see.
Yeah, I'm very interested in this part, because most of what I hear from residents is those everyday things, and not so much the major crimes, but the everyday stuff that that they see, especially downtown, where you have a lot of people walking around, a lot of people gathering, and displaying all kinds of behavior. So it'd be cool to take a deeper dive into that, just to make sure we're really on top of the small stuff just as much as the big stuff. When you were talking about juvenile crimes, and I love that we have different options and programs to try to get them, on a better path. I'm wondering, like in that immediate time though, when a juvenile is arrested for, let's say, a vehicle burglary, and it's the first time, are they brought in and then just sent home, or do you talk, or are they